Welcome back. As the title implies, this is take two of trying to get the heads on the engine. I ended up having to use a set of Mahle factory style head bolts. They worked flawlessly, as you'll see. So, like I said in the other video, the last one, I've never used the Earl's brand before. My thought process kind of was they're all pretty much, if they weren't ARP, they were all kind of made by a similar company. I've used, like I said, I used the Jegs before, and I used the BTR that they no longer sell in the past with no issues. Now, something to think about, the other engines I've put these bolts in have all been the newer style where they only have two different bolt lengths. This is an earlier '02 engine in this truck, and it has the three different lengths. It's got the really long ones, and then the two medium-sized ones, I guess you would say, one on each end, and then of course the five short ones that really do nothing on the top. I'd like to see a long-term test where you just leave them out and see if anything bad happens. I don't really think they do a whole lot. Personally, you've really only got 10 head bolts in an SS or LS, but that's neither here nor there. Any rate, I'll quit rambling and we'll jump right into things. So this is take two tonight to try and remedy this head bolt situation. Picked up a couple of sets of these Mahle head bolts. Have good luck with their gaskets. It's what I could get on short notice as well. So we're going to go with that. Picked up a new torque wrench as well. I trust it more than the other one I had. Probably do a review on this at some point, what I think of it. But fancy. It's no snap-on, but it's good enough for me. So, at any rate, I'm just going to get right down to it. Throw the bolts in, run them to spec, and we'll come back because I'm sure that's going to be pretty boring watching on time-lapse again run down a second set of bolts. So I'll come back when I have some progress, and then probably we'll go through the passenger side cylinder head and the whole process. Alright, so great success. Heads went on pretty much without a hitch, bolts all torqued. I'll get to it and detail it later, but had a little hitch with that new torque wrench. Doing these the right way, 22 foot-pounds, 90, 90 the second time, 50 on these two short ones here. I do own a torque angle gauge, so as far as doing that the right way, here it is. I did use that, but that torque wrench doesn't go down to 22 foot-pounds. It starts at 40. So I kind of did some math, educated guess, and ran with it. And one of my other engines, I basically took the torque wrench and seen what kind of force it exerted to loosen the bolt. And generally around 65 foot-pounds is what a lot of guys that reuse head bolts. I've done it myself. That's kind of accepted. Am I saying you should do it? Do whatever you feel comfortable with. I go with what works for me. But at any rate, sorry to be a little long-winded. I'm just super happy that this all worked out. Got the rockers on. Went through the sequence on them. Push rods are installed. Gonna go ahead and put on time-lapse and buzz the valve covers on. Get the knock sensor harness on. And honestly, I think I'm gonna call it a night because it's about 9:15. I've been up since about 5:15 this morning, and then I worked a 10-hour day at work, so I'm gonna call that good enough. And then tomorrow we'll
finish up some of the last little things here and there, and hopefully get this slammed home in there, and I'll get as far as I can, and then I'll finish the rest Saturday morning. I hate setting goals because every time it just seems to backfire. All right, let me hop to it. Alright, so I'm going to leave it off right here. There's some other stuff I could do, but it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I've had enough. Me with the finger painting here, that's kind of a personal preference of mine. Keeps the water out of the O2. There's a lot of moisture here in the air in Florida. I don't put those foam deals under the intake manifold back. I just not really a fan of them. It's a lower two-wheel drive truck, so it's not like it's going to go off-roading or anything, but still, I'm going to do what I can. Keep water out of here. It's just something I've done for a while, and it's worked well for me. Do what works for you, again. So tomorrow be the steam ports, torque the crank bolt, and I'm going to get it off the stand. The rear cover with the new seal and the new perimeter seal on. We'll put the flex plate on, and then we'll rig it up and stab it in there into the truck and try and get it all lined up and ready to go. And like I said, I'll focus on making all my connections. I'll do probably header, starter, any plug-ins down there, converter bolts, things of that nature. Try and do all my underneath stuff, and whatever I don't get done will spill over into Saturday, unfortunately. I was really hoping Monday this week this would be done, but clearly it was just a pipe dream, and nothing ever goes as planned, so I kind of stopped making plans at one point. But at any rate, thanks for hanging in there with me and listening to me ramble, and we'll be back on this tomorrow and make some real progress.